Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's still too wet to get in the cornfield today. No rain today, but it's pretty wet. Shifting gears there. And so we might be able to get back tomorrow, not for sure. I just don't know what the rain looks like, but soybeans have been maturing. The earlier beans are. So let's take a quick look at some, and we can get a better idea of how they're going to turn out. Well, these are some full season beans. They're not the first planted, I think. About a week later after we started planting. I don't know if you can see that, but let's pull one off and shook it back. They're gonna make pretty good. I dropped one, but yeah. And they'll be ready before you know it. There's a dry spot. This goes on around that house you see out there, and about all the leaves are off of them. But up above my waist, I'm 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there. I ain't got my boots on, so I guess 6'1". So let's ride further. Right here is some corn I've got. Just driving on the road, I think it's going to be pretty good. This is a pretty good little field. But I thought while I was in the neighborhood, I'd show it real quick. Well, these beans was planted before the ones we just looked at, but they're still pretty green. And I thought the way that we had the maturity dates that these would have done turned off. But there's some tall beans. Let me get down in there. They're not as far along as the ones we just looked at, but right out there, they would come up to my chest, I believe. Man, they loaded up. This is a 65-acre field. 75-acre field. It goes on around back through there. It's one of our better fields. This is one of my grandfather's farms, and we cut hay off of it right here, and he had cattle on part of it too. But one of my aunts has got this, and I'm glad that it stayed in the family and that we're still able to farm it. I will go ahead and add, we got made about 240 bushel an acre of corn off this field last year. I don't think we're going to have any corn that's going to do that this year, though. And we've seen this field before. A lot of deer damage. This is what we call double crop. This was planted after wheat. For those new or don't know what I'm talking about, those things are loaded. These are actually surprising. Double crop is we sow our wheat in the fall. Next month I'll be sowing wheat, and we harvest it in the middle of June, and then we come back and plant soybeans. They usually don't do as good as full season, but you're getting 2 crops off there. There is sickle pot. I can see a little bit out there, but it looks fairly clean. There's a little bit of grass coming up. These just didn't close off the middles, but they'll be ready before you know it. But you can see where this plant especially, how they bite the tops off. They'll make something. Well, like I said, it rained yesterday. Hasn't rained today. So I don't know if we're gonna get back in cornfield tomorrow. I hope we do. But today we drove down to Florence, Alabama, hit the Harbor Freight and the Rural King up. So I've had a gasoline powered compressor for several years now. And if we don't get in the cornfield tomorrow, I'm gonna mount it on the back of my truck, and I bought a hose reel today. These are the last of the full seasons. When I say the last, they was the last planted. They were actually planted about 2 weeks before the ones we just looked at. There ain't no disappointments here. Usually your later beans don't make as good, but I'm tickled to death. And I rotate crops, but this is a 2nd year bean on bean. And the reason why is you can't see it, but about 3/4 way out in the field used to be an old growed up fence row. And my aunt and uncle owns this farm. They had it cleaned up, and it's just time we got it cleaned up, and it was too late to plant corn and getting pretty close on being too late to plant beans. But yeah, they're looking good. And while it's on my mind, I went over to one of my old friend's house today for a little bit. He has a hunting and gun channel. He just started it, and so far it's pretty good. Hunting season's just right around the corner here. I think bow season has already started. I'm not a big hunter. But his channel is bowsandbullets.com. That is his channel. But we were shooting, or he was shooting today, some pretty interesting guns, and had some suppressors he was trying out. So this is the field we just looked at, and there's a field road that separates another farm that I do not farm, but they've done got the corn off there, and they're cleaning up around an old pond. I don't know if they're gonna drain it or whatever, but I didn't even know there was a pond there. And we've been to this field just a couple weeks ago. It was good and green. But this is a field that was planted on the first day of bean planting. It wasn't the first field planted. That field's down the road. I'm not gonna drive to it today. It's only 20 acres of beans that look good. But you can kind of see out there, I don't know if that's kind of a high spot or what, but you can kind of see where they're turning a little bit more brown. Leaves that fell off, but yeah, I think we're gonna be all right on beans. Price is up there, and it's about time that I make a little money on this farm. You know, I'll admit it gets rough sometimes, but I'm gonna go look at one more field of double crops that's not been on the channel, and another field that we've seen before too, and then we'll probably wrap this video up. All right, this is some double crop beans. That, my friend, is a cuckleburr. Kind of got a little spot where I pulled in the field and a little wet spot right there, but other than that, these look a lot better than the other double crops we looked at. They're loaded. Loaded, loaded, loaded. What am I gonna do with all this money I made? I guess pay bills and might have enough to take the wife out for a steak. But yep, this is a different story out here. All right, no, this ain't a bean field, but y'all remember the rye I sowed last week? It's starting to come up. Ryegrass, I should say. It's about 1 inch tall. A good little green cast to the field. Got some morning glories popping back up, but and some onions. But yeah, you can row it. Well, I think I got about 12-13 minutes of video. I'm not going to just go to every bean field we got, but I tried showing, you know, earliest planted, middle of the road, last of the early season, and then a double crop. I think I hit it all, and they're all showing out pretty good, and that's going to be a blessing this year. So one thing I want to ask everybody to leave in the comments, I'm possibly looking for a brand new or a really nice used four-wheeler or side-by-side. Tell me what you prefer. But we're gonna wrap things up. I appreciate you watching. If you made this long, God bless you for sticking with me that long, and we'll talk to you later.